In today's video, I'm going to share some fantastic tips and tricks for your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 that are known as the advanced features. So basically, if you go to the settings of your smartphone, you'll notice that over here it says advanced features, and if you go inside, there's a full list of settings here to play with. Now, the one thing I'm not going to cover in this video is the S Pen features on the top, because I do have a full video dedicated to the S Pen tutorial. So we actually, in that video, I go from top all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to drop a link to that video in the description box below in case you need it. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to cover all the other tactics here from top to bottom so you guys become an expert of your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So let's dive right in. Now, the very first button here is called the accessories button. So when you connect certain Samsung accessories to your smartphone, you get a bunch of options. Now, in this case, the fast wireless charging option is enabled. You can disable this. I don't know why you would do that. Make sure this one is in fact enabled, and this gives you fast wireless charging as opposed to the standard speeds that take hours to charge your phone wirelessly. So make sure this is in fact enabled. The next tip here is called the Smart Stay feature. So this one basically is a very useful trick, and it makes sure that your phone stays open as you stare at the phone. So the sensor on the top here knows that you're staring at the phone, so it's going to make sure that the screen remains on as long as you're staring at the screen. It's great if you're reading an article on a website and sometimes as you're reading it, the screen just locks down and then you have to re-log into your phone. Okay, so that's a good feature to have. Now I'm going to skip the games over here for a minute. I'm going to come right back to it. Now let's just talk about the one-handed mode. So one-handed mode has been around for a while, and it's an amazing feature. Let's go inside, and again, you can enable this, and you have a couple options to activate the one-handed mode. And again, one-handed mode is designed so your entire phone can be used with your thumb. Okay, so it's a large phone. If you don't have large hands, you're not going to be able to reach every area of the phone using one finger. So you can activate one-handed mode either using a gesture or a button. Now I like to use the button mode. So I'm going to go over here, and basically you tap the home button 3 times and boom, you get the one-handed mode. On top of having this mode, you can have a small sized like this, or this is the smallest you can get, or if it's too small, you can increase the size a little bit to fit your own finger size. And then from here, you can use this phone as if it was as if this area was the actual active phone. So if I pull down the notifications panel, it comes down from here, go up from here, and anytime I bring up the any kind of let's go over here, and if I tap on the keyboard, everything is going to be minimized. Okay, so when you're done with the one-handed mode, there's a couple ways to exit it. But one thing I'm going to show you guys is if you are in fact left-handed, this is the way you want it. But if you're right-handed, you want to right justify the screen. You tap on this guy, it goes to the right side. Okay, so you can be left or right using that arrow. And of course, you can go to the settings to play with the settings right over here, or you can just tap over here and it goes back to normal. You tap outside the area of the one-handed mode, which is right here. All right, so that's one-handed mode. Let's go back into the advanced features and look at the next tactic. Now, finger sensor gestures are pretty amazing. Basically, you can use the fingerprint sensor to open or close notifications. Okay, so let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's a fingerprint sensor. If I pull this down, notifications panel comes right down. If I pull it up, it goes right up. Okay, there we go. Absolutely fantastic. Well, let's go right back into the advanced features. Let's go to advanced features and go down a little bit. So we've got the quick launch camera. This is a pretty simple one. If this is enabled, you can double tap the power button anytime from anywhere, even from the lock screen, to bring up the camera for a quick shot. So if I double tap this, boom, the camera gets launched. And even if the phone is locked, it's going to happen. So this is great if you're on the go, you see something you like, instead of unlocking your phone with a PIN number or your irises or your fingerprint, you just double tap the power button. It bypasses all security and launches the camera, and camera only. Then you take a shot and you move on. Let's scroll down, and then we have the device assistance app. If you tap this guy basically manages what's going to happen when you press and hold the home button. So in my case, if I press and hold the home button, it brings up the Google Assistant, as you can see, and you can talk to her, get some answers. But what you can do is you can go back in here, and you can actually go here and you can change that to something else. You can actually make sure you can actually use internet. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. It's going to mess a lot of settings up, but you can actually change this from Google Assistant to the actual Samsung internet, or you can say none, and if I press and hold this time, nothing happens. So everything here is can be disabled. Okay. Now this one is a multi-window options. Now there's a couple options in here that are pretty amazing. Now this one here has to do with multitasking. Now as you know, with multitasking, I can have two windows running side by side. I can have the settings app, for example, and I can have, let's just use the Chrome application. So I have two windows here. So I got two windows and I can actually work on both of these completely independently. So when you enable this option here, use recent buttons, you can actually change the current application from full screen to split screen. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me enable this and let me press and hold the recents button, and that's going to allow me to activate split screen multitasking without having to press this button here that I usually press. So I can go back into Chrome and now I got split screen multitasking. Now if I want to go back into the full screen, I can press and hold the recents button, and what it's going to do is going to take the top application and make it full screen. So the bottom application disappears. So press and hold, boom, bottom application is gone. Now again, normally when I want to do a split screen multitasking, I press these two rectangle buttons and that does the same thing. But with that recents button enabled, if I'm in an app, I can press and hold, that app gets goes to the top, and then at the bottom I can pick whatever I want. And again, if I want to get rid of it, boom, it's gone. All right, now let me go back in here. There's a couple things in here that you also want to know. Let's go to multi-window. You can go in here and you can actually do a snap window instead of the split screen view, which is also fine. So I can do it this way. Let me go to the settings, press and hold, boom, now I got the snap window. So I can snap any portion of this window to the top, and then at the bottom I can continue to multitask. Now that's the size you get with the snap window. All right, anyway, let's go back here, advanced features, multi-window. Let's go back here and keep it at split screen. That's the way I like it. And then you have the pop-up view action, enable this, and with this one, if you go to the calculator application, for example, you can do the pop-up view, which is this thing right here, which is pretty damn amazing. You get this pop-up window. You can tap on this. You can minimize it, put it anywhere on the screen, do something else, and then use this on the side as a pop-up window. You can exit out or you can go full screen. Now most Samsung applications are supported for pop-up window. Let's go right back in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Smart Capture. So let's go inside. So Smart Capture allows you to modify your screenshot. So basically, if I take a screenshot using any method on my screen, on my phone, let's go home. Let's just take a screenshot using this button. I took a photo, and that's the Smart Capture. It allows me to draw on it. It disappears. You have to tap on it really quickly. Let me do one more time. So that's the Smart Capture options. I can tap on this, and I can crop that image and everything, and then save it that way. So if you disable Smart Capture, that's not going to work. So let me go back in, disable this. Now let me take a screenshot just of this screen. It saves this, it takes a shot and just saves it. You do not have the options to edit it. So enable this if you want extra options after you capture a screenshot. Next up, we have the palm swipe to capture. Now this is a very easy thing to do. Basically, you swipe your palm across the screen and it takes a screenshot. Okay, so it doesn't work all the time, but it's going to work. Just try it a couple times. Once you get a feel for it, it's going to be very easy. Do exactly as it's being shown over here, and it's going to take a screenshot, even though you have all these other ways to take screenshot on your smartphone. And then the next thing we have is direct call, one of my favorite features. When you have this on, if somebody is calling you, you have the option to answer. You swipe on the screen to take the call. What you can do with direct call is just bring the phone to your ear and boom, it actually answers the call. Okay, so instead of swiping to answer, just pick the phone up, put it to your ear like this picture here, like this animated GIF, and it's going to take the call. It's going to answer that call. And then we have the smart alert. Let's say that your phone was sitting on the desk and you were away and somebody called you or somebody sent you a text message. When you come back and you just pick up the phone, it's going to vibrate and it's going to give you an alert saying that you missed a notification. Could be a message, could be a phone call. It does alert you in a smart fashion so you can actually look into it and see what's going on. Okay, so again, just a very simple thing, but very useful. Let's go back in and let's go to Easy Mute, another one of my favorite features. Tap on this guy. Somebody's calling you. You want to just mute the phone. What you can do is you can just put the phone upside down on the screen with the screen facing the table, and it's going to mute that call or that alarm. Or you just put your finger on top, your hand on top of the screen, and that's going to mute or disable whatever notification that you're getting. Absolutely fantastic tactics. Then you've got the swipe to call or send messages. Now basically if you go to your contacts, let me just go to my contacts over here in my phone. Now you can see that I have a bunch of contacts here. If I want to call any one of these guys, I can swipe this way to send a text message or swipe this way to make the call. Okay, so swipe to send a message, swipe to actually make a call on any one of these contacts in my contacts. So that's that feature. You got the dual messenger option. Now this one allows you to run two of these apps. Any available app shows up here. So WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger. If you have two separate accounts, you can use two separate accounts on two separate WhatsApps, Facebooks, or Messengers. All right, so one could be for personal use and the other one could be for business use, and you can use this option. And then we have a couple other options here. We have the video enhancer. Make sure this is always enabled. It's going to enhance any video. So if you don't have this, the video looks a little bit dull. It still looks amazing on the screen, but with this, it just gets enhanced a little bit more. Okay, so make sure this one is enabled. I'm going to come back to these two in a second. Touch sensitivity. If you are using a screen protector on your smartphone, make sure the touch sensitivity has been increased so the phone doesn't miss any kind of touch input that you give to the screen. Then we have the send SOS messages. These are stress signals. If I go in here and if I enable this, what I can do is I do have to agree to all these terms after reading it. So agree, cancel that. Okay, whoops, there we go. Okay, so you have to add a recipient before you can enable this option. But after you enable this option, what you can do is you can tap the power button 3 times quickly to send a stress signal to a person that you choose. Like when I enable this, it's going to ask me to pick a contact. So you do have to add one emergency contact. After you do that, you can come back here and you can send a message by tapping 3 times the power key very quickly. Okay, so when you tap the power key 3 times, if you have these two options enabled, it will actually send an audio recording and a bunch of photos taken from the front and the back to that emergency contact. So that emergency contact has a few clues as to where you are perhaps. So this is great for real emergencies. And then finally, we've got the direct share option. If you do enable direct share option, this makes it easy to share files with other people that own Samsung devices. So if I go to my gallery, for example, and if I launch a photo, if I tap on share, what it's going to allow me to do, it's going to give me this option, share to device option. When I tap on this, it finds any available devices that accept this kind of input, and I can just tap it. It's going to send it to that device directly. Okay, and you can send large files very easily using this tactic. Let's go back into advanced features over here, and that's basically everything that I wanted to talk about. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of things going on here. I did say I'm going to talk about the games mode. So if you go in here, you do have to enable the game launcher. When you enable the game launcher, you have a couple options here. You can go into your app settings, and what the game launcher does is it takes all the games that you have on your phone and groups them under this game launcher that looks really nice. So all the games are here. I can tap the game performance mode, and I can change the performance to power saving, balanced, or performance, meaning the games are going to look great. I can do a setting for each game if I wanted to. And of course, I've got a bunch of other things. I can discover more games from here. and I can actually change the sound of the game. The game volume will be muted, but your phone volume won't change, stuff like that. Just come and take a look at this, all right? So that is the game launcher under advanced settings. And that brings us to the end of all the advanced features on your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Guys, thank you for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe to Saki Tech for more videos to come, and also give this video a thumbs up.